You know, if humans came up with the concept of time and the actual definition of it, you'd think the human brain would understand clocks a little more instead of, basing everything off of lights and how much of it we get, because let me tell you, we're getting home like half an hour ago, and it felt like 10 o'clock because it's dark out there. And my brain's just like, oh man, that means it's so late. And it really wasn't. It wasn't late at all. But no, human brain's like, I don't see any daylight. You should sleep immediately. But no, brain, I said to my brain with my brain, we're not going to be doing that. Because I have to stream Sonic the Hedgehog 3, otherwise I will melt. Actually, technically speaking, I only had to play it or I'll melt. But nonetheless, I cannot go without it. I need it to live. It is the night before Christmas, so we're playing Sonic 3. I'm just going to casually glide through this game on a finished file, as I do every year. I'll throw in plenty of save states. This is the most casual playthrough possible. So, gonna do that. Gonna reminisce specifically about video games for the year. Nothing else. I mean, really, did anything else happen? I mean, yes, but you're not here for any of that. You're here for the videoed games. So, let me just move this window down so I can keep it in my sights, so I can remember what I played for the channel when I get to that. Otherwise, let's switch over to Sonic 3. Might not look like Sonic 3 right now. Also, for some reason my computer thinks a certain file type is SNES ROMs, and that includes the thing I need for Genesis ROMs, so that's kind of funny. Anyway, yeah, let's just get into it. I'm just gonna press that key so that it saves states. Let's just get this started. Because again, it's not truly Christmas unless I play Sonic the Hedgehog 3. If I don't do my particular ritual, Christmas just doesn't happen. It all relies on me doing a thing. And that's fine, Knuckles, you can take those, I don't need them. I've got the better emeralds. But anyway, yeah, I guess I'll start by trying to remember the things I played without the watchful eyes of the internet over me. Which, one must wonder, do those things truly happen if they're not on the internet? And, yeah, actually, they do happen. But, I mean, kind of the big ones is I did catch up with all of the mainline Xenoblades this year, and their respective DLCs. I started last year with Future Connected, the thing they added for Xenoblade, the first one in that definitive edition. And I started Xenoblade 2. I got like a decent way through. But yeah, 2025, I did finish that up. And I will say, I don't know if I particularly like playing Xenoblade 2 that much. The base systems are fine. The process of actually just playing a fight in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is great. And the exploration's good as usual. But, wow, I'm not doing that this year. Cannot aim. But yeah, actually fighting, actually exploring, those are fine. It's just Xenoblade 2 is a game that is just filled with charts. And it's just an experience of, this is entirely too much. Granted, I do appreciate that there is a gacha game that is not a monetized thing out there in the world. There should be more of those. And at a base, I do like the variety of characters you can get in Xenoblade 2. I think that's kind of neat. I did have a lot more fun when I just decided, hey, I don't want to look at any charts anymore. I just want to have one party composition and call it a day. And just kind of thinned it down, and I did have a better time once I wasn't thinking of charts anymore. So, you know, once I ignored a vast majority of what Xenoblade 2 offers, I did start to have a good time again, but yeah, it is just a matter of there's way too much. There's just so much to think about with every given character, and that just got tiring to me. So yeah, I do not think it's terrible, but I'm also glad to not be playing it anymore, because it's, a lot. But yeah, story-wise, it was great. I feel like people didn't give that one enough of a shot, because it was, you know, quote-unquote, more anime than the first game. You know, it was certainly more brightly colored. And yeah, more towards that anime style, but I feel like the storytelling was just as solid. So I don't think it's a good idea to write that one off necessarily. Oh, hey! Okay, that was a very minor graphical glitch, but you know what? I'll take it. I haven't seen anything like that in years. I used to get a unique glitch every year, and then I started streaming these, and it's like, no, we're not giving you anything. You're just gonna have a relatively normal Sonic 3 experience. I mean, yeah, the life counter's glitched, but it always does that. That's just a thing that happens when you get enough lives. But yeah, it should be no surprise that after Xenoblade 2 was a lot, midway through I started playing Torn of the Golden Country, which, for those of you in the know, yeah, I played it when it was supposed to happen as a flashback in the main game. I feel like that's actually a pretty good... Whoop! I did it, I lived. I did not die in the total screen. Glad that just whips out real quickly. Okay, good. I still have the timing down. I'd be sad if I messed that one up. That would mean I'm getting old. But yeah, I played Torn of the Golden Country, and yeah, no, game where it limits your characters and you just, you know, have a much more contained party. That still has, you know, the charts. It still does the charts, but they're way more manageable and actually almost fun to pay attention to. Still not my favorite system, but I'll accept it. Let's see if we can get out of here before Tails dies. You might want to eat air there, Tails. You're not doing well. Oh, well, there he goes. Tails drowned. R.I.P. But yeah, I also think that Torn is also just a very good contained experience, you know? It's a very good short story about helping a doomed place. And some people do complain about the fact that, you know, you do have to do the side quests for the community meter, but, I mean, doing the side quests is part of the game. It is very much a necessity that you at least pretend you want to help the townspeople. 'Cause the characters do. So, like, you should. Oh, that guy's gonna get me. I'm gonna get gotten by that guy. Or not. I lived. But yeah, like, it is necessary that you do these things, so I was fine with community. So also fine with the show community, in case you want to, take that in a different direction. I was fine with it. It was alright. At its high points. But yeah, just a really good short story with a game that was much more well-contained, and I didn't have to think about the charts nearly as much. Still a little, but not as much. So yeah, I pretty much did that, and yeah, that was around the point where I decided to play Xenoblade 2 with just a team. I definitely did not draw for every last blade, especially not Cosmos. I definitely did make some attempts to get Cosmos, but I knew in my heart that wasn't going to happen, and it didn't. So of course, after I was done with that, I immediately got to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is a game I had played before but never finished. Like Xenoblade 2, where before I started playing it, I'd only seen it before. So I knew the plot, I just, didn't know personally what it was like to play the game, and boy do I know that now. Yeah, Xenoblade 3 I did like a lot, it's just yet another victim of kind of falling off the Switch because I didn't have a monitor for it, and so Joy-Con drift was just kind of sapping a lot of the fun out of playing anything, because it made that a chore. So yeah, I actually got further into it this time, and yeah, no, that's just a very good Xenoblade. I like the class-based system much more than I did Xenoblade 2's thing. I think it still had some complexity without just being, look at this menu every few minutes to remember, like, okay, how many things do I need to kill? How many times do I have to use a specific special level? None of that, none of that. So, I definitely had a much better time with that one, and story was really great. And if I had one nitpick about Xenoblade 3, it's the fact that, it is possible to play that game standalone. But I definitely think it's a good idea to be at least a little familiar with Xenoblades 1 and 2 before getting into it, to get the most out of it, and look, any given Xenoblade game on its own is a commitment. Like, just playing Xenoblade 1 is gonna take— oh wow, I botched that one. Even Xenoblade 1's gonna take you a while to get through, so just saying like, oh yeah, you can play Xenoblade 3 on its own, but I'd really recommend that you're familiar with all of them. Is kind of a big ask, but I think just emotionally you get the most out of it if you are— I can't quite get over that, I don't think. I might be able to, but I'm definitely gonna get poked. If I can, I won't. But yeah, you get a lot more emotionally out of 3 if you're familiar with the other 2. For a number of reasons. I think it's a really good way to cap off the numbered Xenoblades. If they ever do a Xenoblade 4, I wonder if it is going to be Xenoblade 4, or if a different thing's going to be Xeno from now on. Next game, Xenogun. Uh-oh. Oh, wow, I am surprised I did not get crushed to death there. I wanted to go down and kill that guy, but got caught up in this weird water tube. Ah, darn it. Probably not getting that. But yeah, Xenoblade 3, very excellent, good culmination of everything. Yep, saw that one coming. Good culmination of the Xenoblades. I was very fond of it. Cried at the end, because of course, honestly, I do like a lot of good RPG parties. A good ensemble cast is just a nice thing to have, and I think a lot of RPGs just have characters that in some way are pleasant to witness. There are probably some RPGs with bad parties that are boring, but I think most people can at least nail a halfway decent RPG party. You just gotta get a bunch of weirdos together, it's fine. That's all you gotta do. And they're just fun to watch. But yeah, Xenoblade 3's cast does very much stand out. Big fond of that. Bunch of dorky nerds. Favorite polycule right there. So of course, after— ah, darn it. Oh well. That was a bad idea, Eggman. Just a very bad idea. Yeah, you dance on that capsule, Tails. You dance on that one. So yeah, of course, after I finished Xenoblade 3, I immediately moved on to Future Redeemed, that game's DLC. Which, you know, I will say, I think of the DLCs, Torn of the Golden Country is probably the best out of them, but that is because it does kind of show up its base game a little bit. Xenoblade 3 is, in a similar manner, just a bite-sized version of Xenoblade 3. Though, bear in mind, it's a Xenoblade game, so bite-sized still means this is a fair few hours long. You're gonna be here for, like, a month, maybe, thereabouts. Depends on your frequency of play, but surprised I did not die there. Was not treating that cautiously at all. But yeah, similar vein, yeah, it's just mini Xenoblade 3, though. If it weren't for the fact that Xenoblade 3 were even longer, I would definitely prefer playing base game, just because, you know, there's a lot more variety going on. Everybody has access to different classes, whereas Future Redeemed, it is very much just every character in the party kind of does their own thing, which is fair. I liked about half the party alright. A was pretty good, Matthew was pretty good as well. Spent most of my time playing Rex, because double spinning Edge. Sometimes it's just fun to spam the same thing over and over again. It is at least the funnier option. Anyway, though, yeah, like, ignoring the amount of time they took, I definitely prefer the base game of 3. So, yeah, that is— did I just kill Tails? He didn't look very dead. He didn't seem that concerned, so I guess he's fine. But yeah, maybe you might say that that reflects a little more poorly on Xenoblade 2, that, like, I would far sooner replay Torn of the Golden Country than original base game 2. Again, ignoring the time, I'd still go with Torna. Because that is just fewer— not checklists, charts. That's the word I'm looking for. I wanted to say menus, but, like, I'm fine with playing menus the game, you know? Like, I played Valkyrie Profile, and a lot of that game is spent in a menu. Yeah, same with, like, Getting the Car Loser. That is a game that is very much about setting up your tactics before you even get into fights. And when you are in a fight, it's just execution. I like that. I'm fine with menus, it's just— oh, Xenoblade 2 wanted me to remember so many things, and my memory is not good for normal people things. I am not remembering every single thing a blade needs to upgrade. That was just so much. But yeah, no, I have liked Xenoblade for a while, and I don't think you necessarily need to finish things to say whether you like them or not. You can have an opinion on things, but they are things I like, and therefore I want to have experienced them as much as possible. And I just about have. I'm still working on X, but... Tails, really? Is that because I killed you with one of those? Come on, dude, grow up. Well, I guess I'm going this way now. But yeah, in terms of the main numbered games and their side content, we're all good. I'm done, I've done them. I am all finished with that jazz. Which, good. Wrong one. I thought the Spike guy was in the back, and I don't know why I thought that. Bad call there. Alright, I'm gonna need a shield. I could activate Hypersonic, but I don't want to use them this early. Although, this is a giant ring? Okay, it was either a giant ring or a fire shield. But, yeah, now that I'm done with Xenoblade, I have so many more hours to work with in my game playing time. Like, all of them are many hour-long RPGs, and I'm done with them, I'm finished with them. They are enjoyable, but, oh boy. The time to play other things is just truly staggering. And so now I have to remember what I did play in my off time other than that. 'Cause there's a few things. I also have things I play on my Steam Deck, which is, the lesser time I have to play video games. Usually I, use my deck between lunch and lunch chores and dinner chores, so... The time I use that is, much less substantial for when I'm doing that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm trying to think, played Sonnet County at one point. That was a pretty solid game, definitely gonna have to put that in stream at some point. It's very short, so that'll be like a stream or two. But yeah, definitely a very fun game about making mistakes and doubling down on them, which is... You know, I have to wonder if that was the moral of the story going into it, or if that arose after the game changed theme. After he got yelled at. I don't think it was that severe, but it is a nice story about a guy going, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't double down when people are saying, don't do casual cultural appropriation. It might be a bit bad, actually. But yeah, very, very cute, I guess Katamari-esque game, for lack of a better term. Just, you know, a very cute puzzle game about collecting things. Just with a hole instead of a large ball. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of tricky thinking of what I played for Steam Deck, because there are some things that I have attempted to play on there, and, you know, sometimes things actually take longer even though they seem bite-sized. That's why I don't play Vampire Survivors on that thing. You know, you just play a game and it's like, oh, this is supposed to be a half-hour thing at most, but then you play more than that. Speaking of Katamari, yeah, I never did get all the stuff in the Bone Yard or whatever it's called, specifically because of that accursed skeleton Katamari. I couldn't kill that thing. And I dedicated more time than I probably should have trying to figure that one out. And that's why I don't play Vampire Survivors on Steam Deck anymore. It is simply more of a time sink than it necessarily needs to be. So weirdly enough, RPGs are a better use of that time because I have a better time just stopping sometimes. I can just get to a point and go, alright, nope, we're good for now. don't remember if this is what I played immediately around that period, but I did attempt to play Wild Arms this year. No, this year. Oh yeah, no, I remember when that came about. Technically I played Pokemon first, but I want to just talk about Wild Arms real quick. Very interesting game and concepts. Unfortunately, the plot hasn't really gripped me, so I haven't beaten the game. It's one of those plots where it's like, you kind of just go around trying to do things, and then the villains just one-up you, so it's just like, alright, they smashed that MacGuffin, oh, they burned down that town, cool. That's kind of interesting, though. I liked that everybody's story kind of started in different spots. I really like that in a story. I like the segment of the gang getting together. So it was pretty cool that, like, everybody started on their own journey, and yeah, that is not it. Screw it. Yeah, it starts out with everybody on a different journey, but then early on you do need to get everybody to the same town, to the same dig site, and everybody just kind of stays in the same team from that point onward. Though there are a few points where you have to fight separately, which is definitely interesting, but yeah, that's kind of cool. Everybody had their own playstyles, but unfortunately kind of just wound up being like, this is a game where you have two guys attacking, and then your third character is the one with all of the magic, which I get why they were trying to do that instead of, like, separating out attack magic and healing magic, that sort of thing. Because usually that gives somebody very defined roles, and it's just, they wind up doing the same things for every fight, but even when all the magic's on the same person, it pretty much just winds up being, you have the character who just spends a few rounds debuffing and then buffing, healing when needed, and if there's any time left in the fight, then she does attack magic, but otherwise, yeah, it is very much just a bit of a samey feeling system, which is too bad, because, yeah, it's a very unique setup, and I would like to enjoy it more, and I do kind of want to go back and try again at some point, but yeah, I just found myself kind of off of it. Doesn't help that I'm also at the point where I kind of just want to have a walkthrough up whenever I'm playing, so that also isn't great for casual play. But anyway, yeah, before I played that, though, I do distinctly remember moving from Pokemon to Wild Arms, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, did play Pokemon, 3rd gen, because I'd never beaten 3rd gen. And I did try to start with Emerald, but unfortunately, I'm kind of stubborn about my party sometimes. And the water type I was aiming for, you don't get until after Flannery, and Flannery is pretty tough, actually. So yeah, I kinda got stonewalled by Flannery, and I didn't really feel like grinding. So yeah, because I couldn't get Barboach early on, I just crud. Yep, no. Always that guy. There's that guy just shooting me with a gun. Darn it. Okay, I'm going to be killed doing this. This is not worth it. How did that happen? So yeah, I switched to, the remakes, Omega Ruby, which I will say, definitely was not a game designed with the, experience share in mind. Because it did make things a little too easy, though. For Pokemon, crud. I went backwards. For Pokemon, frankly, I'd much prefer easier. Pokemon is a game that gives you a lot of choices, but some of them are just wrong. As I discovered by the fact that I tried to wait for Barboach instead of just getting a water type for Flannery, but I don't want to raise extraneous Pokemon anymore. I'm kind of against the concept of catching all of them, or really anywhere close to all of them. Catching Pokemon is by far my least favorite part of a Pokemon game. I don't enjoy it, especially nowadays. It's better in more recent games, but still had a much better time just knowing what I wanted my team to be and just sticking to it. But yeah, it was a little bit easy. After getting steamrolled by Flannery, I did think it was a little disappointing that I was able to beat her, despite the fact that I had essentially the same problem. You know, I didn't have the water type yet, but I had enough things to make up for it. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't want that fire shield, because I'm gonna be underwater again at some point. But yeah, for the most part, I was kind of just able to breeze through Omega Ruby. Again, a little disappointing, but ultimately preferable to having to grind in a Pokemon game, which is the worst experience of grinding in an RPG. But, oh, and I will say though, as easy as most of it was, I very nearly wiped to Steven Stone. Like, if his last Pokemon didn't get tired out, then yeah, he would have just completely obliterated me at the last second. Don't remember what his last Pokemon is anymore, but boy, did it hate my guts. So yeah, that was kind of exciting. Actually, barely pulling out a win. Though, you know what? Ah, darn it. Let's go with this. Screw it. But yeah, it was kind of nice, reaffirming that I do like Pokemon games. Because I've been trying to get footage for Heart Gold LP for a while now, and I have everything up until the end of Johto. And I've not really felt like picking up the game. Again, I don't think I like Heart Gold. Unfortunately, I just kinda got stonewalled by Bruno, of all people. So I have to, you know, go back and get stronger, because my team can't really fight a fighting type that well. It is a run, to give things way ahead of time, where I mostly just stick to, like, gift Pokemon, or Pokemon from eggs that you get throughout the game. Which, thanks to the fact that, Heart Gold does add, like, a bunch of Pokemon eggs from, the secret passwords, or whatever they're called, you do actually get a pretty good variety. You can get a Mareep, which I'm always going to use anyway. Slugma, which is definitely the worst of the trio. I've not really had much fun with Slugma. And then, the last one is a Wooper, which, yeah, no, Wooper rules. Great design and, like, absolute... I'm giving away a thing in an LP that hasn't happened yet, but in fairness, part of me does kind of wonder if it's gonna happen, since I'm not having a great time with it. So I'll just talk about it casually, but yeah, Wooper, absolute star player. Water Ground is disgusting. And really just, certainly a beatable type if you've got a grass type, but, otherwise incredibly tough and hardy. Until things get really serious, where, again, got stonewalled by Bruno of all of all trainers. Oh, accidentally popped that balloon. Ah well, I'm just gonna keep moving. I'm not gonna let myself get distracted by these things. Balloons respawn. They do, thank goodness. And then I botch it anyway. Oh, whatever. Keep moving, I've only got 33 rings left. But yeah, I do also need to be... Here, bud. Get back in there. There we go. Alright, but yeah, I do also need to get the entirety of that LP done before I can actually commentate over it. So it's just a ton of disk space that's being used for, so far, nothing. But you know, for consistency's sake, I did make a little bit of an alteration. And I need to make sure I can actually finish the game. Yeah, I do need to, make sure it's usable footage and that Mount Silver doesn't explode for what I did. And you know, so far it's been mostly fine. Like, just a few text glitches, but ultimately nothing that can't be fixed in post. But yeah, the main issue is it's just kind of annoying to record and also play, so... As much as I do want the end of that shown off, it's nothing technically impressive, but I just appreciate the effort I did to hack the game slightly. But yeah, in case that never comes to light, there you go. Now you know the story. Now you know my woes with Heart Gold. And you know now somebody better than Pokemon than me is actually LPing it, so, you know... Another point against that LP happening anytime soon. I do think that Heart Gold's a bit overtuned. For anybody who does like difficult Pokemon, I think in terms of main series stuff, Heart Gold's probably the game you want to go to, because... yeah, stuff is kind of tough, and nothing wants to give you a good amount of experience ever. It's great. Anyway, what else did I play on Steam Deck? I think when I stopped kind of having fun with Wild Arms, I'm probably going backwards, aren't I? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think my immediate pivot was finally finishing Fire Emblem Fates Conquest. Because of the 3 Fates games, that's the only one I didn't finish. Because I just got to Foxhell and thought, man, this is annoying. I hate this. I don't want to play this anymore. And then didn't. But, you know, despite the fact that there's some overly gimmicky maps in Conquest, I do think that's my favorite of the 3. Because Birthright's just very straightforward, and Revelations ends with just so many moving parts maps that it's just... ugh. Oh, wow. I mean, it was only for a moment, but that was another glitch. We're kind of getting glitchy this year. That's sort of nice. I was hoping for something a little crazier, but... I'll take what I can get. After years of not getting any good glitches, I will take minor graphical glitches. That's fine. Alright, now here's the stage where I might have to restart from the beginning, because there's a kind of difficult jump that I definitely would prefer to do. Or you go to a hard part of the level. But yeah, of the 3 Fates is probably my favorite, or Conquest is probably my favorite. Because other than the gimmicky maps, it does have some pretty good maps. Like, the wall map is one of my all-time favorites in a Fire Emblem game. That one's just really cool. But unfortunately, I like that one in terms of gameplay, but the story is just as bad as all of the other versions of Fates. And you know, I did get a reminder that actually, yeah, no, Fates' storytelling is just genuinely kinda bad. I feel like Gorin is mostly just a sad puppy dog that wanders around going, "Oh, woe is me! Oh, why did this thing have to happen? If only I had chosen a different path in Fire Emblem Fates Birthright, now available in stores. Maybe this person would have survived," and yeah, just very little agency, but like everybody just loves them for some reason. Too much, I think, especially in Conquest. More people should be mad at you in Conquest. Honestly, I'm kinda mad that Takumi spends most of his time possessed by a dragon god in Conquest, because frankly, the fact that he's the only one with, like, any pushback on that side is, bad. More people in Hoshido should dislike you. Like, Ryoma kinda does, but not enough, especially at the end. God. Seppuku seems just so bad. Like, we want to be shocking, I guess. But yeah, it's mostly just Ryoma going, yeah, I believe in you for some reason. And like, it just doesn't feel deserved. I think that's one of the biggest problems, is Fates is largely a game about trust, and never in the story does it ever feel interestingly earned. I'm gonna get gotten. Nope, I'm fine. Tails, you almost made me get gotten there, Tails. How dare you. But yeah, like, Fates does nothing to earn anything ever, frankly. Honestly, everything it does is kind of just done better by other Fire Emblem games. Mostly Three Houses, but Engage is also kind of a dumb game, but more on purpose. More on that later, but yeah. I was also thinking, like, is that last scene, or one of the last scenes, as bad as I remember it being? And yeah, it was, because the whole thing is like, you kill the two generals who suck. And then, of course, Gorin's like, okay, we've got that done, but there's one more thing we need to do. And, you know, the siblings who you've stuck by throughout the entire game are like, oh, what's that? And it's like, we've gotta kill Garen. They're like, what? Garen, why would we kill Dad? And it's like, no, shut up. Everybody knows he sucks and is evil. That's the whole thing. It's very obvious. And like, earlier in the game, someone does mention that, like, straight up, they do ignore Garen's orders sometimes, and they do spare people secretly. You cannot tell me that the Norian siblings don't know that Garen's awful. He's just the absolute worst, but in that moment, after that entire game of sticking by their side and fighting with them, they're just like, you're gonna need to show some proof that he's evil, otherwise I can't possibly believe you. Oh no. Tails? Tails, I swear to God. But yeah, and then of course, it is revealed that actually he's a goo man. Because the entire point of... oh, darn it. The entire point of going along with the war is that you need him to sit in a chair so that he can be revealed as a big goo monster. so that the Norian siblings will know that he's evil. That's the reason that many faceless soldiers have to die, and you have to keep going with things. It's so that he can sit in a fancy chair that reveals your true self. And it's so bad. And the worst part is, like, because Revelation exists, you also have the fact that, like, God darn it, really didn't want to slide there. You have the fact that the Norian siblings in another life do join you a lot easier. And, like, Xander and Leo wind up joining you because they just overhear... wow, I got gotten by the dumbest thing. They just overhear Garen going, "Mwahaha, I sure do love war. I sure do love the fact that Hoshido and Nor are going to be destroyed by this war." At which point Xander's like, that seems a little fishy. I don't know about this guy. Maybe we should defect. And it's like, God, this game doesn't earn anything. Could you please come out of there? Come on. Okay, that was almost the smartest bad Nick of all time. He almost had the right decision. I would have hated it, but it would have been technically correct to do. But yeah, I did learn that, yeah, no, that scene is just as bad as I remember. Like, I would have accepted if the Norian siblings were afraid of Garen, is the thing. Like, if this were about child abuse, instead of, oh, we just trust Dad even though he's very clearly an evil, evil man, he's not so evil that we should kill him. He's just gonna hide like that. Fine. Fine, you be that way. But yeah, if it was more of a case of like, oh, are you sure you want to turn against Dad? Like, you know what happens to people who go against him, right? You don't want to be splattered on the wall like that, right? So, I don't know, maybe we should just not do that? But yeah, no, it just makes them worse as characters overall. There it goes. It's taking its sweet time. So yeah, Fire Emblem Fates. Fine game to play. I do like a lot of its systems. But, man oh man, is it, probably the worst story in a Fire Emblem game. Hands down. Oh, I'm gonna get destroyed by this guy. Yep. It's been so long since I've had to legitimately time this guy out. Jeez. Man, I had to fight him legit, what? Can't believe I had to actually engage with the mechanics. Yeah, anything else I played on Steam Deck? I also did play Awakening a little bit. Not all the way through, because there's other stuff that I do want to play, and I have beaten Awakening before, but I did want to test to see if I could get mods working on Steam Deck, and I could, so I do have Gay Awakening on my Steam Deck now, which is cool. Which I guess would mean I could have also played Gay Fates as well if I had decided to try that first, but I thought it was more important to just complete the game. But yeah, pretty much I made sure to marry Maribel, and that was it. That was all. That's all I particularly needed. Especially since, the Gay Fates hack doesn't seem to be, or the Gay Awakening hack doesn't seem to be completely done yet. There was some dialogue missing. because I married Crom to Longku. So I figured that'd be pretty fun. Just between Longku's whole thing about... God damn it, Tails. About women and having him wind up with Crom instead. And also the fact that that does mean that, Lucina did beat her other dad in the arena. While the, learning about baby Lucina scene wasn't finished, they did have the, spouse getting a little jealous at Lucina scene until they understand what's, going on. And the one they wrote for Longku was very funny. But yeah, if I do try to just, like, take another look at Birthright or Revelation, I'll make sure to install the, Gay Fates hack so I can actually marry a character. I did not do that in Fates, I just hung around with Felicia and just, had a relationship the old-fashioned way. Just hung out near her, never married, never had a kid. They were roommates. Honestly, not having to play through the child paralogs is kinda nice. Especially in Fates where the conceit of the kids is, just not good. Unlike Awakening, where it's fine. Future Babies is fine. Baby Zone is not. All my homies hate the Baby Zone. But yeah, did I play anything else on the Steam Deck this year? I did play Touhou Hero of Ice Fairy. I haven't beaten the true final boss, but I did beat the regular final boss. Fun little game. I might have to stream that one at some point. It is basically just one of those, like, brawlers where you only fight bosses, but, like, with, oh dear, with, you know, Danmaku mechanics instead. Yeah, it's actually a really fun game to learn. I don't know if I ever want to learn it so much that, like, I'm able to do no-hit runs of it. Because it's one of those games where it actually does seem possible. With just a little more time, you could learn it well enough to do that, but... don't know if I necessarily want to reach that level of mastery. Oh, that was an awful jump. Whatever, it's fine. Bubble Shield's fine. Where am I? Okay, here, good. For a moment I thought I'd gotten too far and just went off the right side of the screen. But no, I think there's an invisible wall there. Anyway, yeah, I think... the only other thing I remember playing on Steam Deck is the thing I'm currently playing, which is, Kingdom Hearts 358 by 2 Days. Which, considering the only one I've particularly played is Chain of Memories, is also an interesting jumping in point. Like, I've seen most Kingdom Hearts games other than 358 by 2 Days and Dream Drop Distance, so I know the gist of most of them. I guess I don't know a lot of the supplementary material either. I don't know what happens in the mobile game. But yeah, the main stuff I'm familiar with, and I did play Kingdom Hearts 1 and maybe 2 at a friend's house when I was younger, but never extensively. I never got to any major parts of the game, because that's a friend's house. I'm not getting very far. I'm not making a lot of story progress when I'm just visiting someone every once in a while. But yeah, I'm getting used to Kingdom Hearts on a D-pad. I think it's a little stiff because of it, but I'm used to the system, so it's a little better now. And also, I will say, once I got the Keyblade that makes your air combos better, I've just stuck with that. because it's really good and air combos are fun. But yeah, so far a decent game. Fun little game, definitely one that is good to play in bite-sized pieces. Haven't gotten to, like, the really big story bits, though. I'm on, like, day 78, so... pretty much just getting a proper introduction to Xion now. She has existed without personality and then got a personality off-screen. And now we're actually working with her properly. Also, while I don't know much about Days, I do know how it ends, so, that's certainly something. Sometimes you do go into something knowing things, and, yeah, you're just waiting for shoes to drop at that point, huh? But, yeah. That has more or less been my... oh wait, no it hasn't. I switched to Steam Deck from stuff I've been playing on my Switch, but... when I finished, with these Xenoblades, what did I play immediately after? The world's my oyster, but I can't quite, remember exactly what I got to immediately. I know I recently played Fire Emblem Three Hopes, because that's another thing I never finished. So I have now beaten one route of that, which is sort of a third of the game, but also it isn't, because there's also a different route within the route, depending on when you do in one of the missions. But I did go with the, I guess, good ending routes. Because I assume things go much, much worse than the other one. Considering which characters I like, I'm definitely gonna say this is the better ending. But either way, though, definitely a good Warriors game. I think it was a good way to do a what-if story for Three Houses without immediately diving into just doing Golden Route stuff. I was kind of worried for a moment that it was gonna do Golden Route stuff. Oh, okay. No sign. You killed the guy too fast for there to be a sign. Sorry. But yeah, when you do the Divergence chapter, I guess... uh-oh. Oh no! Oh no, Knuckles has ceased to be! Uh-oh. And I save stated. Shoot. I think I have to do the entirety of Mushroom Hill Zone over again. I think I have to do this a second time. I killed a woodcutter too fast, and now Knuckles is just disgusted with me. Alright, yeah, I just have to restart. Whoops. Well, say goodbye to this score. Let's see, where's reset on this thing? Oh, CP, right? Yep. Reset. Well, time to do Mushroom Hill again. Thankfully, it's a pretty short stage, because it does have to be the first stage of a different game. Oh, whoops. Press the button that makes you go back. Yeah, I play enough Nintendo games, you'd think I would have been used to this by now, but nope, apparently not. But anyway, yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, I was kinda worried there was gonna be a golden route, but... no, Edelgard and Claude just had a nice chat, and, you know, that was good enough for me. Some really good lines from both of them, and I am glad that, you know, even if it's not a great route for everybody involved, the characters who are important to the future of Fodlan both get to talk and say, like, hey, wait a sec, you're actually doing something that would be really helpful. Like, hey, buddy, pal, you wanna, like, team up? We could probably, like, make the truce we have, like, a whole thing, honestly. So yeah, that was pretty great. I do like that. Apologies to Dimitri, but, you know. That's what you get for supporting the church. But yeah, no, just a fun game, and it's definitely pretty cool to play Fire Emblem characters in an action game sometimes. Edelgard was just real fun to play, she had such a good playstyle. A bunch of the characters were pretty good too. Some of them, of course, just like the students, did kind of have the tendency to overlap a little bit. They do have some special abilities, but, you know, it is a little bit a case of, like, there's so many characters, you can't make them completely distinct, that would be ridiculous. But also, they're probably not going to be anyone's favorite when there are characters who are more specialized. It's understandable. But yeah, I did appreciate the in-mission strategies and the out-of-mission strategies. I thought those were both pretty fun to do. There we go, there's Knuckles. Thank goodness. I did not make Knuckles leave in disgust this time. But yeah, I like the overworld stuff, and, you know, just progressing through each world map. That was a pretty good way to tackle it, I think. And I do want to play some of the other scenarios at some point, but yeah, there's other things that I do need to beat, so I want to play those first. I'll come back to Three Hopes when I have more Switch games completed, but I am currently playing Engage, and I think after this I'm either going to play the first, the Breath of the Wild Hyrule Warriors. I don't have the Tears of the Kingdom Hyrule Warriors yet. Or I'll play Tears of the Kingdom, which wasn't too keen on when I played it, but I do want to give it another shot. I did like Breath of the Wild, though. I have completed Breath of the Wild, and I did like it. But yeah, I've not beaten, whichever the first, the Breath of the Wild Hyrule Warriors was. I keep wanting to say the first Hyrule Warriors, but no, that's a completely different Hyrule Warriors. Which, in fairness, I have completed twice at this point. Once on Wii U, and then once on 3DS. I actually still don't have the Switch version of the original Hyrule Warriors, which, you know, is the version I would play if I wanted to just go back and casually play a Warriors game, so, like, I should get that game at some point. I should buy Hyrule Warriors, the original one, a third time. Because I haven't purchased it enough already, apparently. Anyway, time to kill a man. There he goes. But yeah, I feel like there's one other game I must have played on the Switch. I can see my Switch games from where I'm sitting, but, like, not enough to read them. Well, I'll figure out what that was way later after the stream's done, so sorry to whatever game I'm missing. I have forgotten about you, apparently. But yeah, I am playing Fire Emblem Engage now, and I'm not very far, but I'm definitely having fun with it. It's definitely a very good Fire Emblem game to play, and it's also very dumb, but I just consider Engage to be like a Tokusatsu anniversary special. Like, yeah, the writing might not be as sharp as you'd want from an individual common writer, but like, you're mostly there to just see the guys you've seen before in a new context, and that is pretty cool. I will say, overall, the games where you definitely play as a dragon, apparently are just the weakest games story-wise. Because they do kind of wind up coddling the main character, but at least it engage your god, so it makes sense why they're doing that. For Corrin, it really doesn't, at all. I'm still not going to say I like that style of writing that much. There's too much player coddling, and I don't like that even if there is a better excuse for it. But, yeah, it's kind of dumb, but it's a fun kind of dumb, and I'm enjoying it. And it's definitely a nice looking game. Oop, Crud. Did not mean to do that. But yeah, I'm early yet, and I am aware of the mid-game... Not even mid-game, it's still pretty early when it happens, but there is a thing that happens early on in the game that I am aware of, so it won't catch me by surprise, so... I know when I'll be able to spend my Why did I think that was a good idea? That was just stupid. We're going back here. Anyway though, yeah, it's a dumb fun game. I'd recommend it. The characters can be a little grating when they're talking to the main character, but honestly, they actually do have decent personalities when they're talking amongst themselves. I think the non-main character supports are pretty solid. And I think they have stronger personalities than the Fates characters. Though, in fairness, I do like some Fate supports as well. The overall story may be bad, but once again, if they're not talking to the main character, typically the supports are decent in Fates. Except for the characters who do suck, which, in fairness, a lot of them are actually in Hoshido. Some of my least favorite characters are Hoshidans. But yeah, guess I don't really have too much to tack on to that, because I haven't gotten very far, so... There's not much to reminisce on. Sorry, I'm mildly distracted by Flying Battery Zone. Favorite stage in the game. Very good song. And I'm just enjoying myself. But yeah, I think that's more or less all I want to talk about the games I didn't play on stream or in LP, which, that took about half the game. Alright, apparently I can talk about things vaguely for, about an hour. Alright, I know you want to go again. Oh, actually, no, one more thing I do want to mention. I did play a different Fire Emblem, but kind of a fan one this time. I have mentioned a few times that I've played a game called Fire Emblem Sacred Echoes, which is just a demake of Fire Emblem Echoes in the GBA engine. Obviously, Sacred Stones, given the name, which, that was very fun, gave some good maps to, Echoes, and tried to keep its good writing, changed a few things around. I definitely like the fact that it made Fernand gayer. It makes him... The fact that he is just a spurned guy with a crush on Clive, you know, is kind of just the text in regular Echoes, but Sacred Echoes, it's like, no, we're gonna use the word love here. He absolutely loved Clive, and I won't say it helped the most with Berkut and Renea as characters, but I did appreciate that, like, there was a little more of a face turn for Fernand towards the end. Not in time to save him, but he did kind of just hang around with Renee and go like, man, something's just really wrong with Berkut. Also, I'm just real sad lately because, like, Clive is always going to put out a hand to help me no matter how I treat him, and I'm just starting to feel bad about that. Ultimately the same result, but definitely a bit more of an interesting time spent with Fernand. Berkut's about the same. They did remove, like, the magic mirror portion. So he still goes mad, just without accidentally pulling out demon hands or whatever from a mirror. To remove that aspect of it, but he still just kind of goes crazy after one fight and just starts praying to the altar of Duma, even though he's not particularly religious up until that point. Also, they did also improve the Valbar Leon support, which was already pretty good, but I do kind of like the, their last conversation definitely goes in an interesting direction, where Leon actually makes his feelings known, and Valbar, you know, reacts the same. He loves his dead wife, so... Also, he's straight, but he's still gonna be friends with Leon no matter what. That was really nice. Though also their, I think, second conversation started at the same point it did in, you know, the official game. Where Valbar's just like, you know, if you kept your mouth shut, women would flock to you, and Leon's just like, why would I want women to flock to me? But at one point, he does allude to the fact that he's gay, at which point Valbar's just like, oh. So anyway, like I was saying, if you just kept your mouth shut, men would flock to you. Which is very funny. Really my only disappointment with Sacred Echoes is it didn't change Matilda's ending, though I did get her as a paired ending with Clive, and maybe that was the problem. Like, characters don't automatically pair up in Sacred Echoes, you do have to get them to the right rank for it, so... I don't think I actually got Gray a specific support. I think he's still married at the end, but it didn't specify who he married to. Meanwhile, I did have Silk spend her time around the, gay thief that they added because, you know, original game didn't have thieves, so... they added a thief, an alms route. And she's pretty great. Loved her. Kontha's great. And then, Celica route, they made, Jesse the thief. And they also, brought in one more OC, though slightly out of the blue. They actually have one of, Atlas's brothers come in, and he's actually the villager character of that route, and Atlas is a woodcutter, so he is, strictly an axe character. Okay, that wasn't a bad idea, good. I forgot if that was one with the spiky balls, but nope, it was not. Yeah, no, Sacred Echoes, very solid hack, very long one, though. I think maybe that's what I was doing between, Xenoblade 3 and... Three Hopes. Might have been a lot of that time. Okay, now I can talk about the stuff I LP'd and streamed. Which, in fairness, I should be talking about the things I didn't stream as much, because I didn't stream them, so, you know. My opinions on them aren't as out there. You can just look up the things I have played to know what I think about those, but I still want to look back on them. It's a time for reminiscence. Though I do think it's very funny that, like, I brought up my YouTube page, and the last thing that was updated in 2024 was Saints Row 2. That was, of course, December 23rd. Or, 2024, rather. Did I say 2022? I think it did. Yeah, December 23rd was Saints Row 2. And then the miscellaneous video playlist was updated February 24th. That's when I moved. For some reason, there's like 2 dislikes on that update video. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe people were expecting me to actually be playing Xenoblade 2 for Xenoblade 2's sake, but no, that's just what I titled the thing. I don't get it. Either way, that doesn't matter. And then the next thing on there wasn't until March 29th, and that's Cyberpunk 2077, which isn't actually a finished stream yet, so, like, there was a good chunk of this year where I just did not have anything completed. It wasn't until June 1st that the next thing appeared, and that was Mega Man Star Force DX, which absolutely adored returning to that game. Star Force is absolutely excellent. And I know some people don't like it as much due to kind of the style of the gameplay of it, but I think, especially in comparison to Battle Network, which is a fun game to play, and does have a fun story, I was just kind of blown away about how well done... Oh wow, that's gonna kill me. It killed Tails, but wow, that was bad. But yeah, no, I was really kind of surprised about how much I liked it. Like, I remember enjoying playing that game when I was a kid, and I was just expecting, you know, I enjoyed it before, and I'll enjoy it now that I'm more experienced with Tokusatsu, which it's absolutely based off of. But I did not realize I would enjoy it as much as I did. It was just a real good game about a very sad child. Thanks, Tails, you actually did something. Oh. I thought he only did 3. Yeah, well. But yeah, absolutely adore Star Force at this point. Though, I am interested in seeing why Star Force 2 isn't as good, because I do remember that being the case when I was a kid. That is kind of the overall stance on it, which I don't always agree with the mainstream opinion, sure, but again, I have played... Something's messing up with those clouds. Getting plenty of graphical glitches this time, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I also remember not enjoying Star Force 2 as much. And I get the feeling that Star Force 1 is a pretty hard act to follow, so... chances are I'm probably not gonna like it as much plot-wise either, but we'll have to see. I did promise to play it after I was kind of, like, done with all my never-ending projects, which at this point is pretty much just Saints Row. I just kind of want to be done with the stuff I've been working on for a while before I went to a sequel of a game I just played. But I am now done with Persona 5. I'm not done with Xenoblade yet, but I don't really count that amongst the same group, even though that's a relatively long RPG. But yeah, I think once I'm done with the Saints Row series, I'm gonna try to find a good place to slot Star Force in. I'm going to get hit. Yep, okay. Thankfully I saved recently, so I can undo that foolish mistake. So yeah, once I'm finished with Saints Row 4 and Gat Out of Hell, I'll probably start figuring out when to schedule that, which my current Thursday stream is Batman Arkham Asylum, which I don't think is going to take me too long, so I'll probably have to find another thing between that as well. Maybe I'll play Donut County then. I don't think that'll clear it either, but it's something. Did say I wanted to play it. But yeah, after that, I am looking in the order of last updated playlists on my page. So that's why it's not necessarily things that started in January. Star Force did technically start last year, but it finished this year. Pretty far in, too. That was actually a pretty long stream playthrough. But yeah, the next thing on the list is Mega Man X Command Mission, which... that is definitely my weird RPG that I like. I know it's not like the weirdest pull ever, people probably have more obscure RPGs, but... I really liked X Command Mission. I thought it was a really cool way to translate the X games into an RPG. It was very creative, very fun, pretty energetic. Really, my biggest problems are just the areas could be a little more interesting, and the music could be a little better. But overall, definitely a very solid RPG. Oh, and of course, like, story-wise, it's a bit bare bones. At the very least, I would like a version of X Command Mission where you get some kind of party chat so that characters don't kind of just vanish partway through the game. Marino is too cool to be delegated to just a forgotten character in the story. Asimo was also very good. Okay, you know what? Oh, okay. I guess I could do that too, sure, whatever. Honestly, that's probably for the best. But yeah, I had such a good time with X Command Mission. It was good to finally play it, and it is, again, maybe not the most obscure RPG of all time, but in terms of weird non-Final Fantasy RPGs, that's definitely up there on my list of them. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Again, would have been a little nice with a little more story, but what are you gonna do? Next up on that list is Deltarune, which last updated July 22nd, 2025. I mean, that's one of those, how much is there to say about Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 that haven't already been said? Like, yeah, they're just a pair of really good chapters. 3 is the breather you need between 2 and 4 overall. Like, I think when people start playing the whole thing in a row, it'll be just a nice breather that reveals a few important things and, ends on one heck of a fight. But in terms of story stuff, then you get into Chapter 4, and, yeah, no, that's, quite the heavy chapter. It's gonna be, a real determining factor of the tone for the rest of the game, I think. I think we are all eagerly awaiting Chapter 5 and wondering, alright, where the heck are we going from here? We've got 3 more chapters. There's a 5, a 6, and a 7. But luckily, Chapter 5 is gonna be out next year. Oh, okay, I can just make you explode by doing that. Yeah, turn around, Bright Eyes. I didn't know I could just kind of explode the universe to do this. But yeah, exciting times that we don't have to wait quite as long for Deltarune. I haven't minded the wait. I think it's been kind of nice that discussion of it can stay a lot... Oh my god. Tails has become one with a pyramid! It's like Obsidian Tails, but not! Oh, and now he's Shadow Tails. He's probably not gonna stay... Yeah, he didn't stay Shadow Tails. That's too bad, but... Oh man. I finally got it. I'm getting good glitches again. I'm so happy. Finally, it can be a good Christmas. I'm getting weird glitches in Sonic 3. I've missed you, visual glitches. Maybe it's because I haven't been using Hypersonic as much, which... yeah, that does actually kind of check out. I've actually been getting some decent runs for most of these stages where I haven't needed Hypersonic, but, did need it for the mini-boss there. Anyway, where was I? Oh, right. So yeah. Next on the list, finished October 7th, 2025. Or, you know, that's when it was last updated. It technically finished sooner, but... you know. I post these later than I finish streaming them, so... gonna be a different date. Anyway, it's Persona 5 Royal. So yeah, Persona 5. I enjoyed playing it. I think it's a good game. And I think especially with the female protagonist mod, it was a good experience. But you know, when you have a project that goes on for well over a year, you start to get at least a little self-conscious about it, you know? Like, I don't want to stop playing Persona 5 Royal, but also, it's been going on for ages. So yeah, that was January 13th, 2024 to October 5th, 2025. It happened for a while. And like, it happened on Saturday, where I've always had streams more or less on time. Whereas that's only happened for my other streams more recently, where we've pushed dinner back a little bit. But, yeah, even with that, it has been the stream that took so long. So yeah, that's definitely one of those. I've said a lot of what I need to say. Good mod, I enjoyed that. Good game, rough around the edges. I think a lot of its writing, mostly some of the, ill-placed comedy scenes, could kind of hurt the messaging of the game a little bit, but I don't think it does so much that it ruins the game for me. A lot of people are down on Persona 5, you know. Honeymoon period wore off, people saw flaws, and therefore the entire game is bad forever. I don't think that severely of it. It definitely could be better in certain places. But I think overall, I definitely enjoyed my time with it. It has an interesting message and a way to get it across, even if it didn't always succeed perfectly. And, of course, another game with an excellent overall party. Like, I don't like them as much as Xenoblade 3's party. Those guys are my favorite, but I also like the nerds in Persona 5. Those guys are great. I miss them. I'm glad they'll be able to live on the stream outro screen for a bit, because they deserve it. They're just a bunch of silly teens who have been wronged by the world. And want to make it a better place, even though that's highly frustrating a lot of the time. Okay, hypersonic time. Therefore, I don't really need to light the place up, but you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway, for Tails' sake. Poor kid is afraid of ghosts. He needs it. But yeah, I enjoyed Persona 5, and to a certain extent I do kind of miss it. It is a game about setting up a routine, therefore I, the player, got a sort of comfort from playing that game every week and, you know, doing the commutes, talking with everybody, going through palaces. But as a person who is looking at the games she likes on the internet, it took a long time, and I'm glad it's done so that I can play other video games again. It's been nice. Up next is Dragon Quest IV, which Technically speaking, was not my game to record, but I did wind up playing it overall, so I actually have some decent thoughts on it. I feel like Dragon Quest IV is kind of the platonic ideal of an RPG. Like, I can really tell where people kind of got a lot of ideas. I can see that it's a very influential game in how it's structured. But also, if I just wanted an incredibly RPG-ish RPG, I think I'd turn to Dragon Quest IV before anything else. Tails, I don't think you can fly for that long. The laws of physics aren't bringing you down. He had to go eventually, but man. Again, good year for glitches. I'm so happy. It's been a while since Sonic 3 has been weird. And again, never when I've been streaming it. I'm glad I can finally be vindicated. See, sometimes it glitches a bit. Especially when you use Hypersonic. Though also that did mean that, Knuckles ceased to exist because I killed a Lumberjack too quickly, which is actually a thing I've run into before. Also, you know what? Losing that Elect Shield was so bad, I'm just gonna do this again. Besides, we get to hear Lava Reef some more, and there's no problem with listening to more Lava Reef. The song's great. Anyway, though, yeah, Dragon Quest IV, very charming little game. Also, a pretty good party. I am so bad at this. Why am I so bad at this? I cannot kill that one man. It's aggravating. But yeah, like... if I did not have Aphantasia, I think Dragon Quest IV is the RPG that I would see in my mind. Even before I played Dragon Quest IV, I think it would be the RPG that's always existed in my mind. It is a very RPG-ass RPG. And with that being said, I do actually have to click the left arrow so that I can go back. Oh, heck yeah. Okay, so... alright, next on the list, finished October 26, 2025. Anthology of the Killer. If I was ranking the games I played this year... I mean, first of all, I don't apparently play that many new games, so... I would not really have a good game of the year because it would be all old stuff, which I think most people don't count. But I think Anthology of the Killer would be maybe my favorite. I think that might actually be the top. Genuinely such a great game. It is a very visually distinct one. I find the graphical style to be very good. I love the sort of messy hand-drawn look of it. It makes it distinct, and it's very appealing to me. I just like looking at it. All the weird sprites that are 2D on a 3D plane is just such a cool look, and then everything about it story-wise is fantastic. I've made comparisons to Gregory Horror Show in the actual stream, and I stand by that. It is maybe not horror in a traditional sense. You know, you might not look at that and think, oh, that's a horror game. Nobody's necessarily going boogity-blobby scared all the time. And, you know, there's gratuitous violence, sure, but I would not say it's the most scary, especially since a lot of the game uses humor, and a lot of it kind of diffuses the violence in a way. In a way that makes it less, like, initially scary. But I think it's got that same sort of existential horror that Gregory Horror Show has, where presentation-wise, yeah, it's not that spooky, but it does have that life is pain kind of feel to it overall. Like, Anthology of the Killer is a game about how the world is a ridiculous place, ruled by absolute morons, but there's also nothing you can really do about it, and you kind of just have to keep on trucking. You just have to keep trying to survive your day, every day. And maybe things will get better, and maybe you'll survive. But also, murders still happen constantly. And there's really no stopping that. It is, if anything, the least child-appropriate form of horror. You know, you can subject children to spooky, scary skeletons, and teenagers are gonna love the wanton violent stuff, but, you know, once you're an adult, you can really get into the genre of, oh yeah, life is pain sometimes. Society's kind of a farce if you think about it. Everything's really dumb. What are you gonna do about it? But yeah, every story is excellent. I don't really want to get into them individually, because I still have a long list of things I need to get to. But, yeah, suffice to say, you should play Anthology of the Killer yourself. It's very fun. Again, while it is kind of gory, it is a stylistic gore. Again, messy hand-drawn. Stuff can be kind of gross, but I don't think it's going to be anything that's too alarming for anyone. Honestly, one of the worst things is in the first chapter. If you're not into tongue-eating, conceptually, you might want to skip out on Voice of the Killer, but yeah, other than that, I think it's very tolerable. And there's no death state, so honestly, real good game that you could just play for yourself, even if you're not normally a horror person. I highly recommend it. Ugh. Also, BB is just such a relatable character. Definitely 10 out of 10 protagonist. I've mentioned a lot of RPG parties I've been fond of in this stream, but I think in terms of sole protagonists, BB is definitely my favorite. Love her as a character. Very fun. Snarky, but in a way that's not, like, overly distracting. This is not a Marvel situation. This is a particular character who doesn't feel like she's being written like every other character in the way that she's snarky, which is, you know, the problem those things have a lot of the time. And, you know, this is definitely the type of game where you need a protagonist who is just exasperated at the world around her. I don't think the game ever really drags on about ridiculing anything, but it does it just enough that you're like, yeah, I can see why BB would be complaining about this sort of thing. So yeah, definitely favored protagonist of the year, I would say. There's no actual award for it, but I'm just gonna give her a thumbs up and be like, heck yeah, BB. She's great. I hope she's doing well wherever she is. Wherever you are in the Catamites' brain, I hope it's pleasant. Also, I don't want to go up there. Screw that. Oh, next on the list is, Street Fighter Final Fight. So, like... Okay, after Dragon Quest IV, I wasn't trying to consciously just go for short LPs. I'd actually recorded both Street Fighter and Final Fight, I think around the time Loka had started doing Dragon Quest, so... Footage-wise, these were finished back before we started doing this. And actually, while I hadn't edited it, I had done the audio recording for Street Fighter, because that was just me, because that was just kind of a breathless LP. Street Fighter is very short. And it was kind of just me going from guy to guy, so there was not room for a Kokon there. Final fight, there was a little more room. More room to breathe in the beat 'em up. But, yeah, Street Fighter, it's not good. Might have even recorded it last year, so technically that's not even 2025's problem anymore. But Final Fight's fun enough. It is an old-style beat-em-up, so it's not my, best genre to play, but it's a fun little game. I enjoyed it. And then let's see, after that, Mega Man Zero Revisited. Okay, so I think at this point I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I want to say that my order of favorites for Zero is actually probably 3, 1, 4, 2. And the fact that the first game is so high up is actually pretty impressive, because it's a very weird game, but I think I love it because it's weird. It's probably the one I'm the most familiar with at this point, so maybe it's just a comfort thing. I've played Zero 1 enough that, like, I just know it pretty well. I was actually kind of worried when I was playing 2, because I was like, a lot of these bosses are kind of annoying. Have I just lost my touch or something? But no, I think it's just Mega Man Zero 2, because I've been playing 3 just fine. And I've been having a blast with it, actually. I was pretty sure it was my favorite before, and I'm pretty sure it's still my favorite. 4 is also a very good game, but I've not had the chance to replay that one yet. Though yes, I am already at 3, in case you're wondering. I'm way ahead on my, recording for those games. Much more so than I was with Command Mission. That being an RPG, it took longer to play and edit, so... Consequently, I was not anywhere near as far ahead when I was playing those games, but, you know, every once in a while having a little free time to record extra means I could get farther ahead with, the Zero games. Because they are definitely pretty easy to record. Really, it's just a matter of practice, 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 and then get it. And honestly, yeah, I don't need as much practice. I don't find the bosses to be anywhere near as bad. After that, Boktai, The Sun Is In Your Hands. I had a lot of fun with that. I don't know if I'd say it's the best game. It's certainly a very... attractive game, I guess. It's got a lot of good sprite work, and it is definitely a very cool game when you first play it. Thinking on it, I don't know if I really ever engaged with its systems that much. Like, it's kind of supposed to be a stealth game, and I did not play it like a stealth game. I think if I did try to play it like a stealth game, I actually wouldn't have liked it as much. Because I think... it doesn't really have anything that's super satisfying to be stealthy about. It just feels like it would have been way more annoying to play. And there's like no real cost to messing up other than rank, but I didn't care about rank for this playthrough, and yeah, I think that means I had a better time with it. I guess I could have just gone straight down, but where's the fun in that? But yeah, like, Metal Gear Solid, it's actually kind of fun to not get caught on those. But Boktai, you don't get punished severely for getting caught, except for the rooms that kill you if you do, which were my least favorite part, but... yeah, I feel like... I played it in a way that I would find it fun. And therefore, I don't know if Boktai is the best at getting its gameplay style across, if there are just a bunch of systems that I never really paid attention to, and when I was forced to, it was kind of unfun. But overall, I definitely had a lot of fun with it, and I do really wish I could have played with the original gimmick, but that just would not be streamable because I do not stream when there is daylight. And also, this is a computer, not a Game Boy Advance. I can't really get sunlight on this thing reliably. There's like one point of the day where the sun shines through their windows in just the right way to hit the computer exactly. Also, it doesn't have a solar panel, so it wouldn't matter even if I did have that sunlight, but... yeah, it is a little sad that I can't actually utilize the main gimmick of it, but... for what was there, I still thought it held up pretty well. I think it was a game that's more than just its gimmick, necessarily. It did a good job of justifying itself. Okay, before we go to the next stage, what was under miscellaneous stream again? Why'd I have to update this one? Oh, right, of course. Diamond in the Grave. Yeah, the Halloween level set for Project N was also very charming. It's kind of nice to just have a version of Prototype N that's, like, technically complete. Like, while the game proper, you know, is being built at the pace it's going. She's not a full-time dev, has to have a job outside of game dev stuff, so cannot be worked on as much as some might want, but yeah, it's nice that since that is the case, we can have a technically complete version of the game. Also, I gotta do this. I have to do this. I have to kill Knuckles. Oh, darn it. Darn it, that's still gonna be Eggman. Oh wait, nope. Cool. I varied the RNG just enough. That's nothing. But yeah, Diamond in the Grave was a fun little game. Just a cool little level set. Definitely, liked being able to play that for Halloween. Oh, come on. Come on, nope. Ah, darn it. Nope, I'm going to kill Knuckles. I'm going to do it. Oh, that's gonna be Eggman again, isn't it? Yeah, no. I don't want to start from that much scratch. Oh, okay, cool. I can't remember the last time I ever got jackpots on this minigame. Alright, yep, let's just finish. Yeah, I'm good, I don't need to keep going. Time to kill Knuckles. Here I go. Perish. This is what you get for disappearing in Mushroom Hill. I hope you learned your lesson. Alright, other than that, Street Fighter 6 continues being Street Fighter 6. I enjoy it, and I have been enjoying getting a taste of the DLC characters, though. It does kind of suck that I'm just looking at this like, yeah, a lot of the characters I would want to play are DLC. Like, I've had the privilege of not really having had thought about... that was a terrible sentence. I've had the privilege of not thinking about Street Fighter 6 as a product all that much. I bought the game once, I'm not purchasing any cosmetics, and I've had just enough time with the DLC characters to be satisfied. Though if I wanted to play Street Fighter 6 more, yeah, I'd have to buy a bunch of things at least. Because I like a lot of those guys. Because of course I do. Yeah. It's a fighting game in the modern day. Yeah, there's gonna be way too much DLC. It's just one of those things that we have to live with, but I don't have to like it. Alright, so after that, Saints Row the Third. Alright, so yeah, Saints Row the Third. Definitely a game that I would not change the order of in my list of favorites. How I felt about Saints Row before is still how I feel about it order-wise. However, I do respect 3 a lot more as a game after replaying it. I feel like LPing it has given me a much better appreciation of the experience. Also, yeah, I'm so bad at this boss. Oh, thank goodness. Wow, I actually didn't get hit this time. Amazing year, then. But yeah, I don't know, while the story is not perfect, and I definitely feel like they really didn't commit to killing Johnny Gat in a way that felt satisfying, I think overall, I definitely like some of the things Saints Row the Third was trying for. And I definitely like a lot of the characters more this time around. I mostly mean the villains. I did not remember Killbane being so fun as a villain, but he really is. He's a pushover in a fight, sure, but... honestly, yeah, pretty solid main villain. Cyrus Temple still kinda sucks, though. He's still boring. But yeah, as far as visits to Steelport go, I did have a lot of fun with this one. I still prefer 4, but it is kind of nice just playing regular Steelport. You know, with cars and all that. All that junk. Alright, so next on the list is Mega Man Zero 2, which I'm not done with yet. Mega Man Zero 2, as I was saying before, man, I'm finding a lot of the bosses annoying. I don't hate it as a game, but it's definitely my least favorite to play. Though, I don't feel it's any less worthy of being in the series, story-wise. Still think it's a great plot overall. Then we move on to Saints Row 4. Still my favorite, it's just a lot of good dumb fun, and is kind of the culmination of these characters. And I feel like, given it is my first game in the series, the fact that I played this and instantly thought, man, these characters are great, before even playing the other games, it really just goes to show just how much love was put into 4. Let's see if I can just get this real quick. So yeah, I have definitely been enjoying my time with 4. It's probably pretty obvious since I have spent the most time with it. I've not really edited much of anything out. I've not been montaging it like I did with the other games. And that's in part because there's dialogue I would miss out on if I did do that. Which isn't the most important thing, but... you know, I think it's telling the fact that I did come to the decision to just not cut any of that out. I just want to be here in Saints Row for a little while longer. I don't know if that'll be true for Gat Out of Hell. I actually am not that experienced with Gat Out of Hell. But we'll have to see. It is more Saints Row 4, but at the same time, you don't get to play as the boss in that one, which is a little disappointing. I'm also gonna get to discover if you get to play as Kinsey normally, or if that's only the privilege of player 2. If you are allowed to just play Kinsey normally, you better believe Gat Out of Hell will feature little to no Johnny Gat. Like, I like the guy, but, if it's between him and Kinsey, I'm gonna play Kinsey. Also, I wonder if that is the case that you have to play as Gat if you're player 1, if there is just a mod to switch them. I'll have to look that up. I'm actually getting quite close to the point where I'll need to do that. And I think I do want to go grab the item boxes. Ooh! Hello, Trove of Rings. No, I'm not going that way. Oh, I guess I am. Fine then, you be that way. I don't usually explore down this way. Well, that was dumb. I mean, at least I killed one of the enemies. Anyway, though, next on the list is The Legend of Zelda, which, is another short LP that's actually going to be done by the end of the year. By which I mean it's gonna be done this week, on Friday. Short game, not playing second quest, and it's definitely a case where, like... Ah, darn it. Ugh. It's one of those cases where I kinda get why people like it, but it's not quite for me. It was a game where I had to practice a lot. This is also relatively old footage. This was kind of, post-moving in, calm down. Where I had a bit of extra time and could just, bash my head against Zelda 1 for a bit. But, yeah, I kinda get that, but I think it's definitely, you need to be there in a certain time, in a certain headspace situation to really fully appreciate it. And I, as somebody who did not grow up with it, I didn't quite get that opportunity for it to be that for me. Also, it came up in the thread, but, while I'm not playing Second Quest, I have looked at the map for it, and so I know that level 8 is hidden in the most ridiculous spot. Like, it's already in a weird location in the regular game. That video's already gone up, so, like, yeah, that one's just in a weird spot in the first place. It's in an even weirder spot in Second Quest. And I'm just thinking, like, why? Why would you do this to children? How are they ever supposed to find that? Well. Anyway, though, yeah, so... Legend of Zelda. It started a series. A lot of people do like it. And I respect that, but... that's definitely a not-for-me game. Oops. Let's see, after that is... Portal. Short, sweet, and, it basically made sure I had all my bases covered. Because, you know, it's Portal. Everybody's played Portal, but I'm pretty sure I'd never beaten Portal. So, I beat Portal. I did it. Now I can say I did. And I think this year I'm gonna condemn this sign to the vacuum of space. Sorry, sign. I don't know why I decided to be rude to you like that, but I did. But yeah, Portal, excellent little puzzle game. I also condemned Tails to the vacuum of space, but that wasn't on purpose. He just tripped. But yeah, Portal, unique puzzle game. I think people definitely wanted to chomp at that bit, but I don't know how people, or how successful they were, but... people definitely liked the story setup. You had so many mysterious laboratories with so many mysterious voices. Yeah, whatever, I think that was just an extra life. But yeah, Portal's just one of those kind of necessary games. And that's why I save stated. I knew I'd do something stupid. And mess up for those missiles. But yeah, like if unless you cannot handle first-person platformers for whatever reason, you should definitely play Portal. It's just kind of a quintessential game. It's just a very fun puzzle game. Pretty funny. Good, short experience. There's kind of no real reason not to. That's, I think, slots. I guess I could have checked. But that takes effort. Then again... Okay, let's try. Yep, that's slots. I knew it because that was the same set of sparkles from earlier, so... I think there's a red, a white, and a red and white, and slots are red and white. God, I'm terrible right now. I should transform, but I don't want to. Yes, I'm save stating. I could not handle that for some reason. Alright, and almost at the end of the list, because next up there is Batman Arkham Asylum, which I just only started replaying. That's gonna be another short one, but it's definitely pretty fun. Arkham Asylum is about as good as I remember it. It's got a relatively flashy combat system, which some people might think is too simplistic, but it's really just about managing the guys you're fighting, not necessarily doing big combos. If you want a game where the flashiness just happens, and you don't really necessarily earn it as much, I guess, Arkham Asylum's there for you. So if you have trouble with Devil May Cry, this is your game. It's kinda hard to not look good while fighting, even when you do have whiffed punches. It still looks pretty good most of the time. After that is Ratchet & Clank. Oh yeah, and of course the stealth sections are amazing. They're very fun, and I also feel like I'm playing them a bit better than I did when I was a kid. A dumb, foolish child who played it too safely. Yeah, Arkham Asylum. Pretty good. Probably not gonna last that long. It'll go on for a little longer if I do go after the Riddler stuff. But I'll have to see if I want to do that. Yep, and then next is Ratchet & Clank, which, I have played some Ratchet & Clank before, and since, Deadlocked was a, co-op game, I have actually played that to completion as a player too. So, Ratchet & Clank isn't a game I haven't experienced, but I've never completed the first game because that was another I'm only playing this when I'm visiting a friend kind of game, so I never got particularly far. We didn't play it too much. Might have also... Actually, I don't know if I played that much Ratchet & Clank. I think I played the first game at his house, but never much of it. You might have also played a little bit of... I feel like I played a little bit too. And also, I think we played the multiplayer modes of some of those as well. Yeah, either way, this is my first real Ratchet & Clank experience, and yeah, fun game. I can definitely see how it's maybe a little simplistic in comparison to the later games in the series. I think they get a little bit wackier with their guns, but definitely a fun time. Also, I really hate to interrupt this, but it is that time of this playthrough where I have to determine if Eggman's going to be throwing up the horns or flipping off the viewers. The question is, do I have a coin? I'm going to say heads, I do... We'll say middle finger on heads, horns on tails, so give me one sec. Okay, I don't think I actually have a coin in this room, so I'm gonna have to rely on the internet. Alright, Google, just give me a coin flip, please, no AI. I don't know how you would AI this, but... Okay, cool. Got a tails, which means Eggman will not be rude this year. Eggman's gonna be throwing up the horns. Alright, so, here we go. Alright, so yeah, Ratchet and Clank, fun game. But I can see how its sequels will definitely improve over it, but that's fine. That's what first games are for, and Tails, I swear, if you ruin this, I'm gonna be so mad. Tails. There we go. Now you can jump on his finger. Anyway, though, yeah, and then the last and the most recent updated playlist is, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Which, it's nice to finally have a version of this game in a spot where I can play it, where the text does not hurt my eyes, because that was the major problem I had with the Wii U version. The TV was far enough away, and the text was bad enough that, like, I was getting really bad eye strain trying to play it, which I definitely didn't enjoy, unsurprisingly. Uh-oh. Time to ruin the music. Anyway though, yeah, I've been having fun with it. It's definitely my least favorite of the major Xenoblade games. Though I do really like traversal in it. I think this is one of the best movements in a Xenoblade game. And I do like the sci-fi elements as well. I think it's a very cool setting. I do think it leans a little bit on depressing too much of the time, though. I guess that is to make it so that, when you do have the possibility of failure, but you do succeed, it feels a bit better. I will say I do like the moments where I've actually saved someone. It's just, you know, the time where I could have saved somebody and didn't, it definitely felt like for a dumb reason. Like, oh, you were supposed to have a couple of these items in your pocket so the big monkey wouldn't eat that guy, and it's like, well, why couldn't I just punch the monkey with my large mech that I'm in, that you won't acknowledge in a cutscene? So yeah, it's a little bit of a deflating game, and I think despite the size of the cast, it is definitely the weakest cast in the series, which, in fairness, given the hero characters in 3, that game also had a large cast, did not do as badly with them. I feel like they managed to not be the stars of the show, but still have plenty of personality and memorable moments. In Xenoblade 3, it's just like, yeah, I'm here with my colleagues, and I like them, but I don't know if I'd necessarily want to be friends with them, exactly. But yeah, so far I have done a little bit of the, Definitive Edition exclusive content. But it's mostly just meeting new characters that I didn't meet the first time around. and otherwise just making progress that I never did in the original version. So yeah, definitely a few caveats, but I enjoy it. I've liked my time with it, despite the flaws. Which is why I'm glad to have gone to that and not play Cyberpunk currently. Cyberpunk's okay, but it is very AAA in a way that I'm just not attaching to as much. I do want to complete it at some point, because it's not like a miserable experience, but like, it's not grabbing me as much. Anyway, game's done. Which is good, because it's 10:22. And as we all know, if you are awake at midnight, Santa Claus will kill you. Honestly, the song's kinda wrong about that whole situation. He doesn't see you when you're sleeping. Or at the very least, he doesn't particularly care when you are. But I shall not be killed by Santa Claus this year. I have successfully played Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And I can go to bed at a decent time to boot. And I even managed to talk about a whole lot of video games in a very loose manner, just, you know, very, I'd say, quick bursts of talking about things, but in fairness, I was talking about things for an hour. I did cover half of Sonic 3 with just things I haven't played on stream. And then the other half was the things I have played in LPs and streams. So yeah, 2025 was kind of the year of long projects. Dragon Quest is a long RPG, so that went on for a bit. That was pretty much start of the year till most of the end of the year. I had to finish still a pretty substantial part of Persona 5 Royal. Even as I passed the year mark, there was still a lot to do. Even when I said I was going to finish the game, I did finish the game that night. I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have just done the final boss, and then left the ending to its own thing. I think that would have been better for the pacing of it, because I did kind of want to respect the pacing of it, but I said I was going to finish, and I was determined to do so. Persona 5 happened so much, and again, enjoyed it, but I was ready for it to come to an end. And then, of course, I have pretty much gotten through the bulk of Saints Row at this point. It's just about half of 4 left over, and then Gat Out of Hell. I'm not doing the reboot as an LP. That will be an eventual stream, because I do want to see how the game is. You know, I want to see how it is on my own. A lot of people dislike it, but I want to give it a shot. But I also know that I'm not going to like it as much as Saints Row, because it's clearly one of my favorite series. I just sort of started playing the whole thing. I was initially only going to play 1 and 2, but I just got the feeling that I also wanted to play 3 and 4, and so now I have. So yeah, I clearly like the series. Therefore, the new thing is probably not going to be as much my thing. Again, I want to give it a fair shake. I don't want to just write it off immediately, but I know it isn't going to match what I feel about Saints Row, the original games. Because again, I played 4 first and immediately fell in love with the characters, and now I'm just having that more so, now that I've played the rest of the games in the series. Really been enjoying that. So yeah, I feel like 2026 is gonna be the year where I do some shorter LPs and streams. We're gonna have a bit more variety. I call myself a variety streamer. I'm gonna have more than just Persona this year. Though that being said, Hades is going to, or Hades 2 is on my mind, because that did come out in 2025. And I do feel a slight pressing need to play that. But also, I think Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is gonna be 2026 as well. And I think that's actually going to be a maybe drop everything to play it situation. I don't know when it's gonna come out, so I don't know if that will be the case, but This will be the first time I'll ever get to play a Fire Emblem game on release for an audience, and I kind of want to do that because I didn't have the ability to record Three Houses when that came out. I didn't have an Elgato, and Engage was also a little too early for that as well. Like, I got a proper monitor and a Elgato, like, a little ways after Engage came out. But yeah, when Fortune's Weave comes out, I'm pretty sure I'm going to consider playing that one on stream, so we'll see how that shakes out, but that is definitely on my mind for 2026. I definitely feel like there's a pretty good chance I'm gonna stream the new Fire Emblem. It is actually kind of exciting that that's a thing I can do for this series I really love. But yeah, I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about Hades too, but other than that, I'm gonna be playing so many shorter games. I mean, considering I don't have to play Persona anymore, that kinda goes without saying. So like, I'm 8 chapters through a 13-chapter game in Xenoblade X, so I don't think that's gonna be anywhere near as long as Persona 5. And it's a Xenoblade game. So yeah, I got a bit of that. I think I'm probably gonna drop a Dragon Quest in there at some point. Maybe a Dragon Quest 1 and or 2 for a game completion stream, which it's an RPG, but it's an older RPG, so it'll be a bit shorter. And maybe a Dragon Quest 3 for a character building stream once I'm done with Xenoblade. I can distract myself from Cyberpunk again with Dragon Quest instead. But yeah, I do kind of want to play a Dragon Quest game. I think I had something else in mind that I wanted to mention for a potential stream thing or LP. The next LP after Zelda is an RPG, but it's a lot shorter. I think I had something in mind for after that. Of course, in the stream I did mention I want to do Heart Gold, but I also haven't really been enjoying myself, so I don't want to abandon the team I made in that, but at the same time, recording with Desmume is annoying, and I'm just not enjoying Heart Gold that much, so I don't know, maybe to cover Gen 2, I'll do like a, I'm pretty sure there's actually a couple good quality, Gen 2 in Fire Red hacks, right? Because Crystal Clear exists, but I think it's too much of a different entity from the main actual game to necessarily replace it. Like, I do plenty of hacks and mods for my channel, but I think if I'm playing Crystal Clear, it is separate from playing the original Crystal or Heart Gold Soul Silver. I think that is very much a case of it's a separate thing, not the replacement. But yeah, I want Hotaru Gold to be a thing, but I don't know if I have the drive for that one. The other thing I might want to mention is, since I have had a drive to play Fire Emblem, that also might mean I might complete, Genealogy and Thracia footage at some point, in which case, time for another long LP, actually. But yeah, I'm figuring things out, I'm thinking about things I might want to play. I do want to play Jak and Daxter and Sly at some point. Oh, I never completed Mario Wonder or Kirby the Forgotten Land, so that's another viable option for a Saturday stream. Might play one of those, get to the end of that. Definitely a consideration. Loka might kill me through the internet if I don't play Pizza Tower. But I mean, in fairness, I also have to play Celeste, and that's, you know, the trans girl stereotype, so yeah, maybe I want to prioritize that, hmm? Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I can do, and I'm still, thinking about what I might want, but yeah, I think a lot of it's slightly shorter projects. And in comparison to Persona 5, it is much shorter projects. I'm not going to do another series playthrough until I'm done with Mega Man, so what happened with Saints Row isn't gonna happen again. I'm not doing all the series in a row. I want only one of those at a time now. Again, I really had the itch out of nowhere to just see those through to the end. But otherwise, it's gonna stay as Mega Man for actually not too much longer, because now that we're on the other side of X, which is a long series, and also it has an RPG, now it's just, I'm gonna finish up Mega Man 02, I think either January or February, I determined that would be. And then yeah, it's just Mega Man 03 for ZX Advent, and then the Legends game, so I'm actually past the bulk of Mega Man. It's still gonna be a while before I finish, but like, I'm mostly done. And like, part of me wants to move on to Sonic the Hedgehog, but then it would definitely feel like I'm copying Raku. I wouldn't be playing through all the side games, but, you know. It would still feel like I was, chopping someone else's bit. Though I do want to play through some Sonic games. There is a Sonic game coming up, once I am done with Saints Row. That's, I think, gonna be my immediate playthrough, is, another Sonic game, which I already have fully recorded. That was another thing that I did just after we were done moving and getting settled in. And I was like, dang, I'm bored. I'm just gonna do this. But, yeah. I think... I don't think the Mega Man playthroughs are going to wrap up this year in 2026. This upcoming year, rather, but... by this time next year, if I'm not done, I am going to be almost finished. It's weird to call that a light at the end of the tunnel, but it is approaching faster than you might think. Alright, I think that's all I wanted to get out, on the table. That's, a year in review, and I guess also a few considerations as to what's to come. I'm done with Persona 5, but Hades 2 could be coming in with a steel chair, but I at least want to give another few shorter games a chance to thrive before I delve into Hades 2, the one where you play as a lady, so of course I'm gonna be all over that when I do play it. Like, are you kidding me? Genuinely kind of a surprise that I haven't just played it for myself already. I have a Steam Deck, I could do that. And I'm going to stop talking before I put that idea any further into my head, so... yeah, that's it. There's gonna be a few more streams in 2025, but, that's kind of the big one, so... happy holidays, everyone. Have a good rest of the year. Hopefully nothing explodes. Years have not been great for a while, but, if you're still here, you're still here, and, let's hope that keeps being true in 2026. Do your best, despite the nightmares. Anyway, yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me, so, have a good night, y'all. Happy holidays. Mainly Christmas, because I think Hanukkah already started. It definitely already started. I don't remember if it finished, though. So I'm really, at this point, I'm mostly saying it for the Christmas part of it, but, you know, happy holidays regardless. Have a good night, and I will see you next time. I've been okay at drinking water this stream, but once I put this on end screen, I'm gonna be just drinking the rest of this bottle. I kinda need it. Microsoft, I am not giving you my perspective. Go away.